Did you enjoy the lecture of yesterday? Do you remember what was it?
Oh,
Do you remember what was it? I don't know, I was not here. So that's why I'm asking. I want to know. Tell me. Tell me something about yesterday. Wow. That was a great lecture then. Trusting in God. That's great. So what that means? What that means to trust in God?
Trust that He's going to protect us because He has a plan for us.
He has a plan for us. He's protecting us. That's all. So do you feel it? Right? Oh, I imagine myself now when someone tomorrow will come to you and say, what was the lecture of yesterday? And then I would be so embarrassed if no one would know anything about what I said. That's, anyway, then I have to tell you a story. That's an important thing that we need to remember. But how do we remember if we just like say things that we are not interested in? What are the things that you remember actually in your life? If I text you today, I say something, and then I come tomorrow and ask you, did you read my message? Oh, I don't remember, what did you say? But if you really want to build contact with me, then at least you will remember my message. Right? That's the issue. Then to build up that kind of contacts together, we need to remember at least something. So let us start now here about what's the topic of today, is building relationship, isn't it? As far as I remember. This is what they told me, to talk with you about building a relationship for the service of the goal. Do you remember the story of the turtle that I told you about since many years? You were not here then. So I just want to make sure that I don't repeat myself. Do you remember the story of the turtle? Okay, then that's good. Then I say it. I learned this story when I was very little. It's kind of a kid's story, but I love it. And I still carry it. The story goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a turtle, big one, with a big stone. She was nice. But somehow, she became friends with two ducks, completely different. They can fly. She's just walking very slowly with a heavy stone. And one day, it was heavy rain, and the turtle fell in a ditch. And she's trying to get out of there, she's trying to search. She will not die, but still, she's imprisoned. She's just in this ditch. Her friends, the ducks, would come flying, come into there, where she is, and then they look. Can we help you? There is no way. I want to get out of here. But then, their answer was, you can't fly. Can a turtle fly? Can a turtle fly? Oh, she has a big stone. Can we imagine a turtle flying? Can we? Can a turtle fly? No. No. Can you imagine that? Can we open up our imagination and see a turtle is flying? Can we? Can we open our minds and say this? Can we? No? Can we? We can build wings? How that turtle could bring a wing? It's very hard. Then the two ducks' friends were actually not very helpful in the beginning, but they became the most helpful group. The turtle decided that she has to fly, even though it's impossible. But then she came up with a great idea. The idea was very simple, but the turtle herself got the idea. And she said to them, okay, she started to search for a branch of a tree. And she got the branch of the tree, and she held it with her mouth, because she cannot hold otherwise. And then she asked her friends, one will come from one end and the other from the other end, and the turtle in the middle. And she asked her friends to fly. And the friends were flying, and the duck was holding very tight on the branch of the tree, and then flying. And you see the turtle got 4 wings, or 2. Can the turtle fly? Can the turtle fly? Yes, now it's flying. The rest of the story was not very happy, because when they are flying up there, a peasant looked up and saw that very beautiful, strange scenery. And he said, wow, a turtle is flying. Whose idea was that? The turtle was very proud of herself. So, looked at him and said to him, it's my idea. You know the story, she opened her mouth and she fell. Can the turtle fly? Not anymore. So now we open discussions about that story. Who saved the turtle? Huh? The turtle saved herself. Other idea? The ducks? Please open up, talk. We are not giving a lecture. Talk. And talk very open. You don't have to... Who else saved the turtle? Is this the idea? The turtle saved herself and the ducks? She? Can you hear her there? You're good. You are strong. You're good. That's fun, isn't it?
Mary Hamza.
Huh? Mary? Her name is Mary?
Yeah.
Okay. Mary, did you know? What's wrong with her? Okay. Say it. I'm very happy to that I could make you laugh. That finally you start to open up now. Okay, that's good. So, the turtle. Okay. Abuna. Welcome, Abuna. So now the turtle served herself with the help of her friends and a branch. But can we say that's only one thing that was the saving kit for her? Nothing works by itself. And that means, imagine that if there was no friends, the turtle would have died. If there was no branch, one missing element will break the whole setup. And that means you need to see that everything works together. Everything works together for the good, for those who love God. Do you remember that verse? I know that all of you remember that verse. Can you continue with that verse? Is everything works for the good, for those who love God? And that's the end of it? For those who were called for a purpose. You know that? The continuity of it. Those who were called for a purpose. And the purpose is, what is the purpose then? That all of us would be transformed to the image of God. Imagine that everything would work together, that turtle would take another shape, would be given a new power, would be given something that nobody imagined that it would happen to her. Nobody imagined that this turtle would be able to fly, but now she can. Now that turtle could make a difference in her own personal life and will make a difference and an impact on the lives of the others. The turtle gained a new power in her life that she had never experienced before. And that very little point, that with the help of a collective powers in you, you will be able to achieve a new power in your life, a new dimension that you've never been before. And that new dimension in your life will be able and enable you to make that transformation that you need for your own person, and at the same time in the life of your own society. That means that we need to start with something. And that is, what was the driving power in that whole issue of the turtle? Her duck's friends would never have joined her if she wouldn't have that power inside her that she wanted to make a change. Her duck's friends in the beginning were telling her, "You can't fly, we can't help you." Your friends in the beginning will tell you, "We can't help you." Maybe they will put a negative power in you. Maybe they will give you negative energy. Maybe they will not help you at all. Maybe they will knock at you with the idea. But there is only one thing. If you really have a vision in your life, and that vision in your life is clear, the turtle had, I want to survive. I cannot die now. I will make it. There is here something that's inside you that is telling you, I want to do this and I will do it. Which it's not, maybe I will make it. Maybe it's not there. I will. That means that you're deciding. You're having the power over your own personal life. And that's the key issue. And the key issue here, that we all know that we have an inner power, and that inner power is enabling us to make beyond our capacity. And that's an important issue in our own personal life. If you believe it, then you will be able to impact your own and impact the rest of the society. So the peer pressure here, your friends, will not be able to knock you down, will not be able to tell you, no, you can't. How many times our friends are telling us, you can't? It's too many. Lots of times, you can't do that. No, no. And it's very little time that we say, yes, you can make it. It's very little. And that means here, if that inner power in me is clear, and our inner power is simply, it's a gift of God. In the book of Ephesians, St. Paul is telling to the Ephesians something very simple. That he's telling them, look, I thank God. And why you are thanking God? I thank God because I know that He wanted to empower you with the might in your inner person. So if God is having a plan for you, that He wanted to empower you, why can't we help each other in understanding that inner power that God wanted to empower us with might in your inner person? And that might in the inner person is an important issue. Do you believe that you have an inner power in you that will enable you to make it and to make the beyond? Do you believe that in that power? How many times you felt that there is something in me, there is something in me, and I wanted to make it much more? I'll tell you something. Before I came here, I was visiting a sick person, and so I went to the family, and that was in Egypt, it's not here. And then in this family there was a 4-year-old little girl. And then her grandfather is telling her, Jesus is here, come, let us kiss the hand of Jesus. And he is pointing at me. And then the little girl came, and I kissed her and played a little bit with her. And then her father wanted to just cheer up with her and say, did you shake hands with Jesus? And she looked at him, and she said, yes, I know he's here, but I know he's everywhere and around us. That's why we are strong. I said, what? Who taught you this? And it was so amazing to hear 4-year-old girl telling like this, I know that he's here, But I know that this is not it. I know it's something beyond. I know that there is much more. And that much more feeling that was in her was very simple. Simple faith that was enabling that little girl to make that statement. That actually I looked at it and I said, how many big, clever theologians could have that very simple statement of faith? And that was the key issue. And that's exactly the faith that made some of those Egyptian Copts, when they faced death with the attack of ISIS or whatever kind of groups, Islamic groups that attacked the Christians when they were visiting a monastery. And they were taking the people from the bus and faced them clearly with guns. And the people were strong and saying, yes, we are Christians. And they were, with pride and dignity, they were able to face it. Who taught them? That's exactly the same issue. It's an inner power in you that will enable you to make it, even on the point that's beyond imagination. Who imagined that they will face such a situation? But when it's time, it's given to them. You may not have the same experience of that strong moment, but you may have other moments in your life where you will need a strong help from above. If you don't have that faith, you will never be able to convince the duck's friends to come closer and to help you. So here it all starts with you. If you believe, it will be given. If you believe in it, you will enjoy the power in the inner person. God wanted to give you that power. God wants to give you that help. And if you feel it, then your friends around you will join in. If you don't feel it, don't ask your friends to help you. They will not. They will never come closer to a person that they don't feel the power of faith in there. You don't want your friends to pity you, do you? You don't want your friends to come closer to someone weak. You're not. The people of God are not weak. The people of God are very strong. That turtle is a strong-minded person. She wanted to survive. We are not like the turtle. We're even more. Simply because we are the image of God. The power of God is in us. And that's the power that you need to use. And if we continue with St. Paul, he was telling that God wanted to empower you with might simply because of one thing. Because you have a faith that Jesus himself dwells in you, is in you. And when you experience the love of God in you, you will be filled with the fullness of the Spirit, with the fullness of God. And that means you will understand. Simply, 20 years ago, if someone will come and tell us that all of us are using this kind of cell phone, we would not believe, because simply it was not there. Who imagined that this very little device simply would do whatever it does now? We would never believe it, because we lived this period before it started and when it started, so nobody would have believed that. But there is a message here. Imagine if this cell phone is out of range. There is no network here. What is the real connection? What is the real value of it? Its value, its power is taken from the power of the network, right? It's only a small device. But its power is really been given by the net, by the network. It's the same to you. Your power actually is mainly given to you by the dwelling of the Spirit of God in you. Then you will receive power. And that power that's really created in you is something that you would never understand. Sometimes we don't understand what's happening, but we feel it. We feel that you can make it. And when you are able to convince yourself, you will be able to convince your friends. Then your dark friends, when they see the power in you, when they see the faith that you have, when they see that you believe in what you're saying, and you know that you can do it, they will join in. Then the impact it's that you make on your friends, it is not the impact that they would make for you. You need to be able to take the lead in the life of your own person and in the life of others as well. You are not a simple, weak person. You're strong. And that strength is coming to you because you believe that you're connected. You have a connection. And that connection is the power of God. You see the difference here? So imagine, take an example of that impact that God is giving you to impact others. We've been talking a lot about the peer pressure, that we are afraid of the peer pressure around us, and our friends are changing our minds, and our friends are pushing us. It's not the fault of your friends. It's yours. And you need to understand that. But God is good. He is training us. Imagine you're Moses. Moses the prophet. And you see the pain of the people. And you want to make a change. And you depend on yourself and what you do. That you go and kill someone. As a result of that, he has to run away. He ran away to the wilderness. Couldn't make it. Simply, he was not able to synchronize different factors together, and he was not able to understand that there is a power beyond that he needs to make really good contact with. He simply was depending on himself. And what he did, and he ran away, still working in there. But God is good, wanted to train Moses, as he wanted to train you. Do you think God is training us to understand what he wanted from us? Yes? No? It's a question. Do you think that God is training us to understand or not? Or he's leaving us like this? He's training. I mean training, not lecturing. Not like I'm doing. Not just talking. He's training. Do you see that God is training you? Right? It's very simple training. And he did that with Moses. And he did it in a great way. The first thing he did, he just showed him an image that's extraordinary. It's not the same image that he used to do. Moses is walking every day, and he's seeing the bushes around him. Every day he's going with the sheep, and he's seeing normality. And one day, that norm has changed. That normality has changed. Something is strange there. There is one bush of all the bushes that is burning and is not burning. Have you ever experienced something that is in your own life that's strange? Why? What's happening? It's an idea, it's a bright idea that comes to you and says, why? If we are not able to take the initiative and walk towards the burning bush, the bright idea in our mind, and say like, what is this? Why we are doing like this? And then here there is a talk. So the first thing that God is training is showing us something different. To strengthen our inner being, that we wanted to see something more, that we wanted to see a power that's beyond. And if you are not able to go and see it, if you don't have the curiosity to see it, if you don't have the initiative to take a step, then the training will not be there. That's why when you find a bright idea in your mind that suddenly came, or someone will give you an inspiration that you didn't see before, give yourself a chance to see. God wanted to tell you something. And then here, God is talking to him. Do you know that God is really a good trainer? Imagine if God would ask Moses to take a staff in his hand and throw it and asking him go and take that snake. Do you think that Moses would dare to go to the snake and hold it? I don't think. I would not be able to do it. I think most of us will not. But God is good. He told him, put your hand in your pocket. It's an easy task. It's an easy task. He takes us first to an easy task. Put your hand in the pocket. And then it's clean. And then it's slippery. Then what? The power here is shown to you. That's why I want you to take that moment. And remember that in an easy task, God has given you a certain power in your own personal life. Maybe one day you remember that I wouldn't have been able to do that thing, but suddenly God helped me. Suddenly God gave me something extra. You understand it. And in every life here, there is a moment that God shows to you that He is the power that can help you. He is the God of mercy that will be able to save you. He is the one that will enlighten you to understand more. And when you understand that, He will take you to another step where He will tell you, I will give you a bigger task. Go to the Pharaoh. Because you dare to take the steps. And then you have an experience. And that experience that you built. So I want you to do something in your own personal life. Sit with yourself and write down. Write down those moments in your life that God made something extraordinary for you. That's to make yourself understand and to create, to collect the golden nuggets in your life. And then make an experience. And that collective experience, when you sit and read it, you will be filled with power. You will be filled with faith. And then you will be able to understand what will happen. Then here, when you feel that you can make it, then you will go to the people. Moses would not have been able to go to the people before he's empowered first. That's why. Work on yourself. Not simply to ask people, come and help me. People will not come to help you. People will come and help you when they see the sincerity in you. When they see the strength in you. When they see the faith that you have. When they see the love that you have. Then they will be able to come closer to you, then they will impact you with something good, or you will be able rather to impact them with the goodness that you have. Take another example. Imagine you are St. Paul. Saul. Saul, the one that he was attacking Christians. The Saul that is hating them. And Jesus is appearing, is giving him an experience. It's a bright idea. It's an experience that he never been through before. It's a golden nugget here in his life. It's a bright idea. He saw something different. And then he leaned to it. And then God is telling him, go to Ananias, and he will teach you. Then here, Paul is going to Ananias with the power. Ananias was afraid, as all the apostles were afraid of Paul. They were having this reputation of him before. They would tell him, no, we don't want. They are afraid. And this fear that they have is not easy. But then, because of that experience that he had, because of the bright idea he had, he would go and talk to Ananias and telling him about his own personal experience. He would tell him about his faith. He would tell him about his needs. He would tell him about the power that he saw. And then he was able to convince Ananias. And imagine that great moment. Then Ananias will help him to understand. But before that moment, if he would have been with Ananias, before that moment, he would not help him. And it happened again. When the apostles was not believing that he is the one who was persecuting the Christians, and now he is the one that is declaring Christ, they were afraid. They didn't want him. And here, there is a good one. The man that was able to bring Paul into the community of the Christians. Barnabas. Who is more famous? Barnabas or Paul? Paul. Paul is much more famous. But imagine without Barnabas, Paul would have never been able to make it. Because all the apostles were afraid of Paul, and they were not wanted to meet with him. But then here, because he believed what he wanted to do, he had the power in him, then he were able to draw a man like Barnabas to help him because of what he believed in. Then Barnabas took Paul in the midst, and he was witnessing, and he was empowering him, supporting him, and telling the apostles, I believe in him. Go, accept him, welcome him. And he encouraged him, and he brought him into the community of the Christians. And that was the reason that the Paul that we know now is the one that was brought by St. Barnabas. You will find friends. You will find friends that will enable you, will encourage you. But most of all, if you are not like the turtle and believe in yourself, believe in the power that is given to you by God himself, believe in the Spirit of God in you, then you will be able to draw good friends around you. But if you don't believe, if you're weak, you bring weakness. And you will bring friends that will use you and abuse you. Then you will be a target. And you will be an easy target for others. But if you're strong, and if you believe, if you have the Spirit of God in you, then you will draw the good people. And you will encourage them to help you in your tasks, and you will encourage them as well to be impacted by you. And I feel if you would understand only that story in your life, I'm sure that it will make a difference in you. You're using every day your mobile, your cell phone. And that cell phone will remind you of the Spirit of God in you and the power that you have. Every day you use it, remind yourself that you are the temple of the Spirit. You're a strong person. And every day, whenever you see a duck or something flying here and there, remember the story. Who saved the turtle? Can a turtle fly? Yes, she can fly. She can fly if she believes. You can make it in your own personal life if you believe. The most unreasonable things, if you believe it, you will make it. If you believe that something is so far away from you, and you believe, God has given us the promise. Wherever you pray in faith, if you believe, you will make it. That's a promise from Jesus to us. And here, He will send all the friends from all over the world to help you to fulfill what you believe in. And that's a message of God for us. I hope that you take it. And this is not a lecture. It's also part of my own personal experience. I have been there. I have been there. While a time down there, a turtle that is in the ditch. Do you believe that you can fly? Yes, I can. If you believe, you will make it. You will fly. Take care. Don't open your mouth and admire yourself too much and be too much self-centric and look at yourself and say, it's my idea. That's a wrong statement because it's never been your own personal idea. It's very much synchronized powers in your life. About the power for you that you opened up your mind, opened up your heart to believe. And God filled you with the power. That's the power of God for you. So the idea, the bright idea that came to you from the beginning, it's His. And then He is the one who brought you the friends around you to give you the wings that you can fly with. So first of all, you need to have integrity in your life and be faithful to all the people that is around you and thank them for their help. Never ask yourself and say, it's my idea. That's a wrong statement. Those who believe in the love of God that fills their lives, they always thank Him for the great gifts, and they will thank Him for their friends. Then they can fly in peace, and they will achieve much more than they believe. God bless you, and thank you for being so attentive. Now 15 minutes of discussions, please. Huh? You say what? I say a funny story. The turtle is a funny story, but it's not only funny. It's very educational. I learned this story when I was, I think, 6, and it stayed in my mind because it was just simply a story of kids. But I see now, after all these years, and I see it's very central in my life, that you really need to feel that the turtle can fly. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible for those who love God. Everything is possible. So it's a funny, but it's not funny. It's life story. And I think you can make a difference in the life of others. You can make a difference in your own personal life if you really feel that this is what it is. Good. If anyone wanted to have other comments, Or someone will come tomorrow and ask you what was the lesson of yesterday. Because I will not be here with this group. Tomorrow someone else will come and he will ask you. So, what would be the answer?
Applying turtle.
Yes, that's great. I'm very happy about that. Applying turtle would be the good answer. Do you have any comments? Great. Then you understand everything. Perfectly fine. Abuna, we're done. So don't leave me alone. Mary, you say Hamza? She's giving me something.
I know, just say it. Say it and know it.
I just say Hamza?
Yeah, Mary Khamsa.
Just like that? Okay. If you're done with that, then I think we can conclude with a prayer and then go for your group discussions with an idea that you can make something good in your life. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah, we have some.
With the leader of the session. Yeah. Okay. You will stay here. You will be divided in 3 groups now. Here. Not in the same group.
There's 3 different subgroups, but they all know.
Everyone knows the subject that they will be discussed. So yes, and you can take this break together. Shall we say a prayer? Shall we? All right. When we pray, we need to concentrate on prayer. Prayer is not just the words that we say. It's concentration. And the whole issue in your life is focus. Focus on what you do. Then you feel it. And when you feel, you're connected. And nothing is like being connected. So that's a training that you need to put yourself in. Lord, we come before you. We thank you that you are our Savior. We thank you that you are the God of mercy, the God of love. We thank you that you created us in your image and likeness. Thank you for the Spirit embedded in us to empower us, to give us wisdom, to give us the glory that we are in now. Being human is a glorious entity. We thank you that you have created us. Thank you. We ask the Lord, hear us when we pray, thank our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Christ Jesus our King. We get peace, we so far from the Thank you.
Like 70 driving, crashing and watching it. Why did you do it? I just wanted to give it to you right from my dad is I'll use my memory card, so I don't have my bag. Or in your bag. I'll forget it. I have a whole piece. I'll try.
What size are you? I didn't trust myself. I really trust myself. No, they just look. No, they don't. Really? I like
Yeah.